are, once again, Money, Motivation, and Mike, mx3.vip. And Jason, just continuing real quickly on the previous episode from a couple of days ago when we were talking about USA hockey. I was pointed out by an individual that I did not mention the history of men's hockey, because I talked about how dominant the women's hockey has been since it became a sport in 1998. Now, as we know, 1960, 1980, 2026, those are the three times that the United States men's hockey team has won a gold medal. Did you know we have 8 silvers? So that means we played for it 8 more times, the gold, and lost most of those to Canada. And what else I found was interesting is that we have only won 1 bronze, 1936. All right. And since 1980, because that's when the Miracle on Ice, and we believe that's when our our USA hockey turned the corner by a bunch of scrappy young amateurs beating the professionals, especially the Russians. We've only won the silver and been in the finals to win the gold only twice since 1980, before 2026. We played for it in 2002 and we played for it in 2010. Before then, 1972. I mean, we're approaching 55 years of we've won 2 gold medals and 2 silver medals. That's how dominant the women have been.
Yeah.
And that's how, now I know throughout all those years, we were playing with amateurs up until 1998. When the women started, that also went to professional players on the men's side as well, or at least in the U.S., because, you know, the Olympics has always been an amateur sport. That's just a continuation of professional sports. That's kind of also taken the glamour away. Now, I enjoyed the 1992 basketball dream team, the greatest basketball team in the history, maybe the greatest sports team in the history of sports on earth ever. I enjoyed it. They won every game by 30 points.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like we knew whenever they put the team together, okay, they're going to win gold.
Yeah.
How many points can they score? How many times can they beat? The biggest hurdle and the biggest unknown on that team was who were going to be the starting 5 players.
Yeah. We already knew we had the Olympics in the bag. That was the best era of basketball, by the way.
1980s was the best era of basketball. Now, that team was made up of 1980s basketball players. You're right.
Yeah. The Jordan era is what I'm going to call it.
Yeah. There was only one problem on that team. They put one amateur on there, Christian Leitner, when it should have been Shaquille O'Neal. That's what I'm going to tell you. Now, that was the year that Christian Leitner turns around and throws the ball up. Hey, it was a good shot. When they threw it down, 1 second, 2 seconds, there was nothing. Threw it down and playing Kentucky to go to the Final Four, and he shoots it and makes it, and that put him on. Now, he was a great player.
Yeah.
He wasn't Shaq Daddy.
Right.
Yeah. You go out here and talk to John Q. Fan. Do you know anything about Shaquille O'Neal? Everybody will know him.
Oh, yeah.
You know anything about Christian Leitner?
I'd be like, I heard the name.
80% will go, who?
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't do much in the NBA.
Yeah.
And Shaq Daddy got it going, obviously.
He's no more for his Duke days, right?
That's right. Christian Leitner was definitely a college player, which was most of that team. Okay. Danny Hurley was the guard. I'm getting off subject here. I've been known to do that. But nevertheless, he's known as a college player, and he's also known as the amateur on the 92 Dream Team.
Okay. He played for Timberwolves?
Leitner?
Yeah.
He played for several teams. He had a stop in Dallas.
Well, I think I'd been to a Mavericks game a long time ago, and they played the Wolves, and I think he was actually there.
He was playing on the game.
Yeah.
Never was a Leitner fan, never liked Duke. I'm a North Carolina dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because of Michael Jordan and that 81 bunch. But you're right. Best era of basketball, in my opinion, was the 80s. My favorite players are from the 80s. If you're a card collector, the best cards to collect are from the 80s, and on and on and on. Did you know Larry Bird and Magic Johnson are on the same rookie card?
Is that right?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
How about that?
That's. I bet that card's worth a few dollars.
It's worth a few $100s.
Yeah.
Few thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Depending on the grade.
Sure.
Nevertheless, I just wanted to mention that how dominant the women's hockey has been, because I was pretty rough on them for not going to the State of the Union, and I don't back down from that stance at all. And how weak men's hockey has been. Okay, for us to go in there and win the gold, hadn't even been in the game since 2010, and have not won any medal since 2010, and only won 2 medals, 2 silvers, since 1980. That's how undominant the men's have been.
Yeah.
All right. Here's an interesting tidbit. 1948, the United States beats Italy 31-1. And remember, it's a Russian deal. Okay, so you think about this. We beat the Russians in 1980. Everybody knows this forever. In 1969, the Soviet Union beat the U.S. 17-2. Largest deficit ever. USA hockey.
Yeah.
So they were killing us.
Yeah. Collegiate team, though, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And not only a collegiate team, you probably got some high school kids on those teams.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you had to go to Boston University to be on that team.
Yeah.
You just couldn't be a pro.
Right.
Your compensation was free room and board and that medal that you hoped to win. Now, all that negativity has brought me into, I've got 2 things here to talk about. All that negativity has brought me into how mentally weak our society is. We always go 99% of the time for the negativity, and we never go for the positivity. And this is, how do we continue to overcome the negativity and get mentally strong? And I've got 9 things here I just want to run through before I get to my next topic on this show. Number 1, stop expecting from everyone. Focus on yourself. You're focused on other things. You got to focus on yourself. Number 2, accept that life isn't always fair. We have a difficult time with that. Why me? Why me? Why not him? Nothing ever happens bad to him. It's always me. Number 3, don't beg for love or attention. You didn't have to beg. They offered you to go to the State of the Union. You said no. I'm going to have a tough time letting that go for a while. Number 4, keep your emotions under control. Well, we can't do that. 5, stay calm in the midst of chaos. All these things are pertaining back to how mentally weak we are with our 2 teams winning 2 gold medals, and we jump on whatever is going on in the State of the Union and the president and et cetera. Oh, by the way, Michael Ruzioni, I don't know if I mentioned this on the previous show. Michael Ruzioni got a phone call from President Jimmy Carter after the 1980 Olympics, and it was publicized and hip, hip, hooray all over the world that the President of the United States would contact an amateur athlete over winning a gold medal.
That was not a normal thing back then?
Well, it probably was a normal thing, but it was a prestigious thing.
Yeah.
Just like it should be a prestigious thing today, if we could get to that point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't. As a matter of fact, I think President Obama, contacted the 2010 team.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Nobody ever heard about it, right?
And they
no big deal.
They probably showed up at the White House, but it probably wasn't first page of news.
But now here we are 15, 16 years later, and it's all just animosity and negativity and blah, blah, blah. Number 6, don't take things personally. Number 7, walk away from toxic people. You may be standing in the corner by yourself. Number 8, focus on solutions, not problems. And number 9, believe in yourself always. That's how you become mentally strong. And in my opinion, when you get into negativity and you want to focus on that, you are mentally weak. And I think a whole lot of what goes on in this country is because we are mentally weak. We are also talk about how we do not raise our children with all the discipline and the mannerisms that go along with what happened 10, 20, or let's just say 20, 30, 40 years ago. Obviously, that's the case. You want something better for yourself, for your children than you did for yourself, and sometimes you come up laxed on discipline because you don't want to hurt their feelings. And that is because we all get involved in keeping our emotions out of control, which was number 4 on my list. Nevertheless, being mentally strong, and Jason here last Tuesday night, we had a little State of the Union, and I have picked out some topic here that I want to address about being mentally weak and disrespectful. Let's roll.
Paid, it's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the
right there.
Union
Stop it right there.
is how it gives Americans the chance.
Who is this representative? Who is this congressman?
Don't know.
Okay, number 2. Number 1, if this is a congressman, he needs to be called out. I would like to know who this is.
I would guess that he's a Democrat just based on the Ukraine flag.
I don't want to guess. I don't want to judge him. It may be a Republican that fell asleep. I want to know who this is, and I want to call him myself. Disrespectful and disgusting. Okay, number 2, maybe he was invited. Maybe this is the guy that that flew the hockey team from Milan to Miami he's tired.
He was at the club last night with him.
He was at the club last night.
Who knows?
And then he had to fly him to DC. I mean, maybe this is the driver of the plane.
Yeah.
He's the pilot. He's tired. I think that's what it is, Jason.
Yeah.
But if it happens to be one of our congressmen, I want to know who this is. Disgraced.
It is definitely one of the congressmen because he has a pin on.
And I think he stole that pin.
Maybe.
Disgraced. Keep on.
Clearly what their representatives really believe.
Looks like this guy's fixing to wake him up.
So tonight I'm inviting every
there he is.
to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle.
Oh, he's going to pick his
if
teeth.
you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support.
Listen to this statement.
The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Stop it right there. Look at one side of the aisle and the other side of the aisle.
And for those who don't know, to your left there, that is the Democratic portion.
Okay. And once again, I wasn't even going to mention one side or the other. My whole point was everyone in this room is supposedly an American.
Sure.
And the person behind the microphone just said, if you support Americans over illegal immigrants, is that not what he said?
Yeah.
Stand up. And we've got almost half of this room, and of course the people sitting on the floor are your Congress, and we've got half of this room sitting down. The people who actually were voted into office by someone who could vote in their particular area, and they're not interested in standing up for them. It's one of the most profound comments that I've ever heard in the State of the Union address.
Yeah.
Hey, now, no new drugs back in the 80s with Ronald Reagan. That was a Nancy Reagan slogan. One of those profound comments. This right here tells you everything you need to know. Because you do not have to be a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, white, black, orange, green, whatever, to stand up for your U.S. citizen.
That's the whole purpose they're there.
That is, they're there to serve the community.
That's right.
And for some reason, and I'll tell you, Trump set them up. But he also set them up to be supportive. He also set them up to show their constituents, their voting constituents, I'm behind you. And they couldn't do it.
That's right.
And it's just incredible. All right. Keep it rolling. A lot of people in the gallery have stood up too, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, Trump here is now going to go to the side where you pointed out of the Democrats. Now he's raising his hand, looking at them, asking them why, shaking his head. I'm asking the same questions. And it has nothing to do, stop it right there, Jason. If any of the presidents that I have been alive under, and Lyndon Baines Johnson was in transition. He was in the transition of he was not running for re-election. And before Richard Nixon took office in 1969, January the 20th, I was born. So I was born in, what do they call it? The lame duck era of a president that's sitting at the Oval Office, but he's on his way out.
Yeah.
Okay. I was born during lame duck era. And, or one of them. If any of those presidents from the time I have been on this earth had made that comment, I don't care what side of the aisle they're from. And that's the problem with us, is we have an aisle. I'm good with democracy. I'm good with of agreeing and disagreeing. But this bunch up there in Washington, D.C. is taking it to a new level, Jason.
It doesn't matter if it's common sense or not.
Oh, this is common sense.
If this is, if it's Trump's decision or his opinion on it, I got to be the opposite. That's what they're thinking.
That's just the way it is. Yeah, that's right.
There's no middle ground. There's no area for agreement for them. They simply, even if it is something that they normally would agree, because Trump said it, they can't agree.
And I believe with all my heart that if you had gotten up there and said that, they would have all stood. But just like what you just said, because this president said it, they're not going to stand.
Yeah.
But what that does is sends that message back to their constituents that I'm all about other things besides you, is what it says to me. One of the most disrespectful, disgraceful things I've ever seen in a State of the Union address directed straight at John Q. Citizen. Not at the president. He's the one that made the comment. He asked the question. Not at the people over here that are standing. Not at the men's team that showed up, the hockey men's team that showed up. Not at anybody. Straight at the citizens that these people were elected by. It's kind of like he just said, are you in favor of eating tomorrow? And they didn't stand up.
Maybe you should have asked that. See where I went with. See if they ate the next day.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder what they would have done if he had asked the question, are you in favor of giving all U.S. citizens $1 million by Friday? They wouldn't have stood up. That is how backwards we are right now.
I'll add to it. Save America Act is the biggest, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but voter ID is what they're trying to get passed right now. All polls, no matter who it is, they're sitting at about 89% approval. That is about 95% of the Republicans who were polled, and over 80% of the Democrats who are polled. All are in favor of voter ID. Yet every one of them are going to vote no. They've already stated it.
You got to have a driver's license to drive a car, right?
Yes.
But you don't have to have a driver's license to vote.
Nope. In some states. And you notice those states that do not require it tend to go blue, or always are blue, I should say. New York, California.
Whatever.
What does it tell you?
I heard, I'm going to close with this, and I thought it was pretty funny. Are you familiar with the singer Ted Nugent?
I've heard of him, yes.
All right. Well, Cat Scratch Fever would be one of his hot hits.
Do know that one?
Okay. So, he's got a couple of houses. He's done well. Now, he lived up there in the Motor Belt. He grew up in Detroit, right in the middle of unions. His family was all about that stuff. And we know what a hardcore conservative he is. All right. Got a house down in the middle of Texas. Says he was at a gas station. People were pumping up their gas. He could tell that they didn't look like they knew exactly what was going on. And they weren't. They had just moved into Texas, smart enough to do that, from California.
Well, we did have a episode about the mass exodus from California.
Yeah, here 6 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is part of that mass exodus that came out.
Yep.
Ted Nugent left them by saying, as he found out they were from California, he said, "Welcome to America."
That is correct. He nailed it.
Bingo.
That's right.
Always contact me, info@mx3.vip. Find all of our content at mx3.vip or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@mx3podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Go down and get in the comments section. I've been watching some YouTube shows, and when they do the episode, they put out a goal. I'm looking for 10,000 likes and comments for this episode.
Ooh.
That's one of them I watched the other night.
That's a tall order.
Hey, not for young whippersnappers like us, Jason. So I think we're going to have to start doing some goal setting here on likes and comments on our episodes.
Y'all hit the like button down below. Let us know what you think about the Democrats not standing in
Or whoever they
State
were.
of the Union. Let's
just say whoever they were, Jason.
Yeah.
We know who they were, but whoever they were.
They need to know who they are if they don't.
I want to know who the dude is that took the nap.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
Right now, I'm going to say he flew the hockey team over here he had a big 72-hour stretch there. He didn't get any sleep.
Yeah. Somebody let us know down below who that is.
Okay, I'm going to say he's the pilot of the plane until proven otherwise, and I don't think it's going to take very long. Please, somebody send me an email and tell me who that was.
No, just tell us down below. We'll check you out.
Hey, and I tell you what I want to do on this show. Now, we've had a negative week this week of covering something so positive at the Olympics and then the State of the Union. Those are huge events. One of them happens every year. One of them only happens every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 7 days of negativity, and I know it's going to continue. We're going to get back to the positive, but I do want to know who that representative was, or he could have been a senator. And I want to call him. I want to call his office on this show. I want his PR person to tell me what he was doing. I want to know, was he in Italy and he's just deadbeat exhausted?
Yeah. Be a good one.
So, for Money Motivation and Mike and everyone who's been a part of this show, continue to live your life the right way.